Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Champions League live on Free Sports on your Valentine's evening, and Jack Whelan and Scott Gillespie are coupled up next. They themselves have a date. Jack on the opening break, and he's absolutely creamed that one. Look at that. What a connection.
Yeah, Jack Whelan has one of the biggest breaks in the world. When he gets it right, that cue ball's straight up and down the middle of the table, and it's massive. And he'd have been watching this, desperate for that yellow at the top of the table to drop.
Yeah, you can see a bit of a surly look on the Jack Whelan face, and there's good reason for that, because he's not actually left himself, despite such a whopping hit, he's left himself not a lot.
He's going to try and open everything up in one shot here. Lovely, with control. Saying he was desperate for that yellow to drop. Just looking at the way the yellows are laid out, there would have been just that one bad yellow at the top of the table that would have been solvable. Yeah, if that yellow had stayed on the table, it wouldn't have been so bad for him, actually. But with the yellow dropping, red's had to be his choice. So the red at the bottom of the table on the cushion looks a bad ball, but that'll be his last ball onto the 8 ball. He just wants to leave himself a good angle on his last ball at the top of the table. They're all in the open now. He could have done with being a shade further to the right, and he could have played the middle of the 3, cannon into the yellow. I think he's a little thin on that to play the shot now, because if he catches the yellow thin, he could end up on the top cushion. Well, he is going to play it. Wants a solid contact on the yellow here. Well, he knew he was getting the thin contact, so played it firmer. That's actually very good vision. That's perfect. Just drift down behind the red to the bottom left-hand corner, top left when we look from the overhead. Well, you said this was a tricky finish, even though it was a good break. Well, Jack Whelan has made it look simple.
He's got a fantastic habit of doing that. He really does have such a fantastic habit of doing that. High quality, high class clearance from the Wonder, who leads 1-0. He needs this match a little bit more than Scott Gillespie, who, if it ended up in a draw, for example, wouldn't see that as the end of the world. He'd know he'd still have the night in his own hands, having already won one. Jack drew his first match of the night with Kristie Caulfield.
I agree with you. I think Scott, if you offered him the draw now, he might even take it, because it means he goes into his last match against Kristie Caulfield knowing a result gets the job done, and any time you go into your final match of the night knowing that, then you've got to be happy. Of course, having said that, if he gets the win here, he goes in knowing all he needs is a draw in his final match of the night.
Scott Gillespie's break. Showing 1-0.
Well, Scott's made a ball, but he's got a equally tricky finish in a similar sort of way that Jack Whelan did. I think yellows will be his choice. Slightly different style of break there. You can see that on the replay. Scott parks his cue ball in the middle of the table, where Jack Whelan screws it right up and down the middle of the table.
Yeah, no right or wrong way. And I dare say, with the amount of golden breaks that Scott's got in the habit of making recently, he's got every right to say, well, actually, this is the way you do it.
First glance, I thought there was a case for developing these balls on the right-hand side, but I think the way they're laid out, he may play on that yellow into the right centre pocket and just back himself to make one tricky pot, because if he lands straight on it, you are dropping it in with guaranteed position, and he has a lovely angle to land straight on it now if he wants to play it now. Yellow to bottom left. Oh, we just got into it too much. Just a trace too much side there and a bit too much pace. He's still on this yellow, but he's knocked the yellow closer to the cushion, making things a lot harder here at the bottom of the table. Case for not even continuing the visit. Could play a safety shot, just bump off the yellow he's next to, while the cue ball next to the reds, or go the other way and try and play a snooker. No, he's going to continue to go.
Could that be a big moment?
I think the reason he's continued to go there is because he knew, going the way he was going, he wasn't moving the reds, and he's still not going to leave a nice layout on reds. Even if he missed that one or the next one, he wasn't leaving an easy chance for Jack Whelan. But he does know that he doesn't want to be allowing his opponent to the table if he can at all help it. Jack was hoping to get the cue ball a bit further up the table, maybe closer to the top cushion, but he's actually had a good result. Scott can't see the yellows down the tables, just the one at the top, and can't do a huge amount with it.
Always slightly reticent to use the phrase Scott Gillespie can't do a lot with it, because he has got a fantastic reputation as a shot maker.
Yeah, one of the best shot makers in the world.
Yeah, shot in last year's Masters, that was bonkers. And I know for a fact he's played one of your favourite shots of all time as well. He's got some imagination as the Larkall lad.
Yeah, he played a shot in the Scottish Open final a few years ago that was one of the most creative shots I've ever seen.
Is Jack Whelan trying to bait Goobsy into going for these?
Well, he certainly left Scott a chance. Well, that yellow on the bottom of the table is awkward to get on. Scott might just say, okay, I'll get on it as a double rather than trying to play position on it down the cushion. More room to play on it as a double. No, not going to fall for that. Or if Jack can get past the 8 ball to the middle red, he could lay a devilish snooker here.
I think that's what he's looking at.
I don't think he can quite get past. I think he's actually going game here. I think he's going to play the cannon.
Yeah, good call.
He might still go as well. He can take this red he's next to the top right corner. Okay, it's a really difficult shot, but if it goes in, he'll expect to clear up from it. To him, this shot here will feel like the frame.
Ah, some pot. Some pot. That is ice cool from Jack Whelan.
Well, this time he's a little bit short. He wanted to be straight in the left centre pocket so he could drop it in, and then you're right behind the one on the cushion. Plays the delicate cannon and plays it well.
That's judged beautifully, that. It really is.
I'm not sure he can just screw this straight back for the 8 ball. He might have to use the right-hand side cushion or leave a lot of distance. Yeah, leaving a lot of distance.
Been a great start from Jack Whelan, this. Hammers home the 8 ball. And the wonder is rolling.
That shows what belief he's playing with. That was a messy table when he came to it. He had 3 bad balls on the right-hand side, backed himself to get them out, and once he did, no mistakes from there. A player really riding high with confidence and form.
And quite right too. He was fantastic in the Pro Cup, which was the last time we saw him in individual competition, and showed us just how quality a player he is. And I think I'm right in saying these two met in the Pro Cup, didn't they? It was Jack who got the better of Scott on that occasion, and all weekend long, Jack looked like he was on the hunt for the trophy. He really looked in the zone.
Yeah, it took a inspired Jordan Shepherd to stop him making that final.
I mean, it was inspired as well. Look at that break again. He's incredibly unlucky not to make a ball. And that's when you get that sense of frustration. You got to feel for him a little bit. Watch the cue ball here. It's exactly as you'd want it if you're Jack Whelan. Straight up and down the table. Great connection. All you're relying on then is that little bit of luck to make a ball.
There's certain players that just have the pack just seems to explode and just quicker and bigger than other players, and Jack Whelan is one of those. There's a handful of players that can break off in that way. Okay,
yeah, it's a break that can win tournaments, can win championships. When he won that world title in 2015, it was on the back of that amazing break. It's what helps him be able to do the crazy things that he's done. That weekend he won the individual and the doubles world titles in one weekend. You know, earlier on in last year's season in the World Rules Pool Tour, won both events in one weekend. That's a field of 256, by the way.
Yeah,
ridiculous achievement. He did that again on the back of that amazing break. When he gets it rolling, he absolutely hands down one of the best in the world.
What he can do after the break is incredible, but when he gets that break rolling, he'll feel like, and I've heard him say this before, he's getting free frames. So, you know, if you're playing a race to 5, he'll feel like he's getting 2 free frames. He's getting the break with such a good split that he'll feel like he can't miss them. Of course you can, but he's riding with such confidence that he feels like he can't. And that's massive, really.
Even just in terms of confidence more than anything else. And Scott Gillespie is going to turn over first opportunity. He's been kept off the table pretty well by Jack so far in this match. This is, I wouldn't quite call it tough. It's certainly one you'd expect to make. So good in his first match, Scott. He's not quite got going in this one yet.
Yeah, and he may have to sit and watch the rest of this frame as well, because these are nice here for Jack Whelan. A nice comfortable layout. You see him pointing his cue. I think the 2 yellows there together at the top of the table. I don't think the left-hand one passes the right-hand one into the centre pocket. So a good positional shot just to land on the lower one of the 2 required. And that is the positional shot that he needed. Just about straight enough on this just to drop it in and stay on the yellow to the top left. A little bit too much angle on this yellow to the right corner, but he'll still take it. He can still control the cue ball. Anywhere near the middle of the table, he's fine. I think he shows you he's fine.
Looks in the mood tonight, Jack Whelan. Not done an awful lot wrong, really. But neither until a couple of minutes ago, it's Scott Gillespie. It's how quickly the night can turn on you. And we saw last week with Shane Thompson going through. Shane will be the first to say that he started really well and had a few moments in that evening where it all threatened to go really wrong for him. It feels like the circumstances and the environment make it almost impossible for you to play consistently well. Just might not happen in this tournament. It is that kind of championship.
Yeah, you don't get necessarily always get the opportunities you want, and sometimes it can come down to one or two here or there. And I think from Scott Gillespie's side of the table, the thing that will disappoint him in this match is that he's had first chance in 2 of the 3 frames, and he's not been able to do enough with them. But the finishes that, especially the first from his own break, and that one just there, the one in the second frame from Jack Whelan was so classy. The one that he's just had there was a bit more routine.
Still plenty of time left in this match though. We've just ticked over to 5 minutes, so 15-second shot clock. Scott can, well, just as I say that, he screwed straight into the side pocket. I say he's perfectly capable of rattling off 3 quick frames in a row.
15-second shot clock.
But Jack Whelan only needs the one chance, and he's got it here.
Yeah, the difficult thing here for Scott Gillespie, he came into this match with qualification in his own hands as the only player to win in the opening couple of matches, but assuming he goes on to lose, which he looks likely to now, he's going to need things to go his way now to make it through, because he's going to have Jack Whelan and Kristie Caulfield both with a win and a draw, and he's just going to have the win. And okay, he plays Kristie in the next match. If he beats him, he'll go ahead of Kristie, but he can't do anything about what Jack Whelan's going to do against Rob Chilton in Jack's last match.
But the one thing you would say is, with this being a ranking event this year, every match matters. Rob Chilton still can play for 3rd place and gets the ranking points that come with that. So it's not a rubber. Rob still has every incentive to play to his best.
Jack Whelan's so good to watch when he's in this mood. He just walks around the table like he owns it. He's just got such an air of confidence. You just feel like he's never going to make a mistake when you see him in this sort of mood. And we know that that's not the case. That does happen in the game, but he's such a dominant front runner.
But even if he does obviously make mistakes, because everyone is human, even if you're giving the opponent the air of you're not going to make one, that in itself counts for something as well. That's a stunning performance from Jack Whelan, a 4-zip win over Scott Gillespie, and he all of a sudden heads into the final round of matches as a favourite for qualification. 2 more matches to come tonight. No idea who's going through. You better stay with us.